You stumbled into a show, and since you don't know what it is, there's no way to have expectations. So stick around. Stick around for let's have some fun. Let's stick around for the 80s soundtrack blasting beats. Stick around for cyborgs busting loose. Stick around for the best 90s vampire movie shot on video. Let's start the show.
Crack open a cold box of wine or pour something cold on ice because it's the Binge-Watchers Podcast.
Home video headlines. What's new in the greater world of movies, TV, and everything streaming? Lily James joins Chris Hemsworth in Amazon MGM's Subversion, a Die Hard style submarine thriller. Die Hard in a submarine? Count me in! They should eat submarine sandwiches while they're plotting on the submarine. Why not? Maybe Subway will sponsor the movie, who knows? Actually, I mean, every Die Hard ripoff is generally pretty good if you're amped up and you're ready for a little action. Oh, and, blessings, love, and concern, go out to the Willis family. I don't know if this is a clickbait rumor, if this is actually true, but he's deteriorated so much with his disease, he doesn't remember being a movie star, which is pretty tragic. And then also, worse tragedy, I'm not downplaying the fact that, forgetting your friends and family and not being able to speak correctly and losing your capacities to even enjoy a quality of life. That's all more tragic and horrible. But, he gave the world a lot of entertainment. I don't know. I don't want to make an argument that entertainers are important. Obviously, I think they are. You're looking at one or you're listening to one. But whatever, we're not going to wax on that. Let's move on. Okay. I don't want to bring the whole room down in, the first 2 minutes of the show. All right. Josh Gad and Andrew Reynolds? I don't know. Reynolds actor? I don't know. Just call him Andrew Anal. His last name looks like it's pronounced like Raynal. Like, whatever. Anyway, they're going to be in this Hulu series adaptation of Stay Tuned, which I believe was a freaking John Ritter movie where the couple gets zapped in the TV by the devil or something like that, and then they can almost get killed in the TV shows they cross dimensions into or whatever. So anyway, looks like they're going to adapt that into a freaking a Hulu show. That'll be interesting. I'm excited for that. I don't know about the casting. Again, I don't know, dude. I don't know. But we'll see, because the concept is pretty strong. We'll see if it can be a good show. Andrea Savage is set to write, executive produce, and star in a Fox multi-cam comedy called Perf. Perf. With a little apostrophe. I think it's, a play on the word perfect, but they're just saying perf, Nerf ball, on sale, the perf Nerf ball, ultimate play, $69.99. No, I think it's just a abbreviation of the word play. Not play. The word perfect. It could be a playful show, who knows? I think it's super interesting that Fox is going back to a bunch of multi-camera shows, camera sitcom setups. Really interesting because there's like a fascinating thing happening, in production. It's like all the streamers feel that like the subscription model is not supporting the budgets and they're not getting the ROI that they wanted, so they've gone back to ad-supported entertainment, which is basically commercials, which is the old school TV model that they've ran since they invented TV off of radio. So it's like, hey man, now we're going back to sitcoms that use multiple cameras at the same time. Very interesting indeed. Little trivia, the 3-camera setup was invented by the Arnazes, Desi Arnaz and Lucy Arnaz. I love Lucy because they wanted to capture all the jokes. There you go. All right. Tonight's movie, the movie of the week. We're here. We got here early. I didn't go off on too many tangents this time. We're here. We've arrived. Let's get going. In tonight's movie, an employee undergoes involuntary robotic transformation, programmed as a killing machine, of course, He must destroy anything in proximity due to the company's secret weapons project in the Vindicator. It began production in October 84 as the Frankenstein Factor. It's also known on the streets as Frankenstein 88 and known in Brazil as Roboman. David McElroy, best known for this movie. Great job as Carl. Yeah, they don't give the cyborg any cool name like, oh no, the X733 X40 escaped the lab and he's running amok. Or the Destro 47 is on the loose. No, they just go, oh man, Carl got out of the lab. He's ripping shit apart. We gotta go find Carl. Pam Grier. I didn't remember that she was in this movie, but she's great in it. You might know her from Jackie Brown, Ghosts of Mars. How about Kofi? Terry Austin. She's kind of legendary too, but she's like this one-off co-star. Like most of her career is she's playing Carl's wife. So she's like the Robocop wife. Like, oh my god, is it still my husband or is it a machine? I don't know. Her whole career, if you look at it, like if you look at her IMDb credits, it's like 1 or 2 episodes of a bunch of TV shows. So she's like, that's like her thing, man. 1 or 2 episodes of multiple TV shows, that's her career. I don't know what that says. I don't know what that says, but that's what it is. Okay, we'll be right back with that. This is going to be probably a faster episode than I anticipated. I should probably slow down, take a breath, and really enjoy where we are and what we're getting to do, huh? Yeah, okay. We'll be right back to our favorite bits from the Vindicator right after these messages. Tonight's messages! Hey, it's Johnny Spoiler. Honestly, I'm not big on reading, but I love being read too. That's why I use Audio Read. It turns any article, PDF, or webpage into a podcast episode I can listen to on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever. No screens, no stress, just hit play and go. Check out Audio Read. Reading has never been this easy. Now back to the show already in progress with our favorite bits from a movie called The Vindicator. Thanks for sticking around if you're this far in with me. Alright, here's my favorite bits from The Vindicator. The Vindicator soundtrack hits hard and hits immediately as the title come up. The musical score for the 86 film was composed by Paul Zaza. Paul Zaza is a Canadian composer who's composed a lot of great music for horror movies. Check this out. Prom Night, The Other Prom Nights, Popcorn, My Bloody Valentine. He's also done iconic teen movies like Porky's. He did Xmas classics like A Christmas Story. And comedies like Loose Cannon. This guy, as it turns out, is a music composition legend. Legend? Did I spell legend right? Look, I learned to read after all. Just kidding. Moving on. Let's see. Oh, the special effects for the movie The Vindicator were primarily handled by Stan Winston's studio. Stan Winston and his team designed and created the robotic suit, also known as the Frankenstein suit, that the character Carl wore. Stan Winston himself is credited as the designer and creator of the suit and related effects. Furthermore, the Vindicator suit was later repurposed by Stan Winston Studios for their Predator suit in Predator 2. It actually has a really disturbing effect. The guy has human eyes, because the visor's broken, so we see his human eyes. If he takes off the helmet, his brain is exposed, and also he has no lower jaw structure, so the whole bottom part of his mouth, from nose down and across his jaw, is just skeleton. So you see all his teeth and his structural integrity is like bolted together. This, to me, is like much scarier than the Terminator design exoskeletons or even freaking Robocop, because he has a full face. When he takes his helmet off, Robocop has a full face, and this dude, man, he's like more like a Skeletor, from He-Man. That's a He-Man reference. Masters of the Universe? Look that up. Google it. Come on. I know you're not going to watch it on a television. You're not going to dig up a DVD, but you got a little cell phone. There's probably clips on. There's definitely Funimation, old cartoon clips on TikTok or Instagram or wherever you are now. Wherever you are, you can find it. Let's see. Overall, I think this movie should be more popular and more discoverable than it is. And, if there's anything that's busted for a remake or, is hard in cold weather, moisture's dripping off the lens of the camera, hey, That's how titillating it is. The Vindicator could easily be a movie now. We could really dig up this story. Who has the rights? Let's find out who has the rights to the Vindicator. Let's bring it back. Let's do the Vindicator 2 TOO direct sequel, baby. Let's just go there. All right. Ratings. It's gonna be hard to joke with you and hold you out in suspense because I think you know where I'm going with this one. We do binge now, binge later, binge never on this show. It's our patented rating system. We made it up. We love it. We think you'll love it too. Binge now means you gotta watch it before anything else. Binge later, put it on your playlist but get around to it. Binge never, you can't get the time back. You've wasted 2 hours of your life. What are you gonna do with yourself? Anyway, this actually, again, my praise for the movie and my excitement can't hold back what it probably gives away. It's a binge now. All right. Okay. We've actually received one of the coolest... Tap the mic to make sure it's working. We've actually received one of the coolest comments that we've ever received. John Ireland, the creative director at Red Circle Media, said, "If this episode doesn't break the algorithm, I'll eat my corn kid hat. Subscribed and ready to binge." He had said that he got excited about our Frankenstein Unbound episode, which was last week's entry in Summer/7. That's how popular it is, kids and listeners and watchers. Summer/ comes down and people join in. All right. The staff pick. This is it. This is our 7th year coming out in the summertime doing a horror movie marathon of reactions and reviews. Summer/7. So we decided let's play this game and let's do the 7th sequel of a popular horror franchise. And so we have. So, here we go. Will Spanner is at it again, battling sex-starved, beautiful demon vampires in the 7th installment of this series. Will enlists the help of cops Lutz and Gamer to bring down the evil vampire Hussa and his beautiful erotic demon slaves in Witchcraft 7. Witchcraft, that'd be a funny movie too, no. Witchcraft 7, Judgement Hour. There are 15 Witchcrafts in the original series, which I thought was kind of crazy. They're up to 15 sequels. I thought I also saw a post on Instagram of the new remake that they were going to be coming out with. You know, in October 2015, Katie Reif of the AV Club named this film the 5th best in the then series that only had 13 entries, saying it had a nice mid-90s feel to it, although she did say she found it to be the most gratuitously sexist of all the films, but it was still a fun watch. There's virtually no witchcraft in the movie. I mean, we don't really know what happens to the witch boy until Witchcraft 9, Bitter Flesh. All the movies are direct-to-video. I mean, it's cool when the first victim wakes up as a vampire, and they fight her in the morgue. And then the love scene under the blue light is awesome. It's like a little police light, and it's going off, and they really get in there, and it's like romantic poetry. I bet they criticized this movie when it came out for the daytime vampires. However, movies made up the sunlight weakness. Each love scene is better than the last. The Renfield type lacking. You know how like the Dracula type, the Count, whatever, always has like, you know, a weird, creepy servant, ghoulish guy. Well, this one, his name is Costanza, like George Costanza. But the actor doesn't get the reference, and it seems to go right past the actor, because when the actor says his name, he doesn't have an awareness of the reference, you know what I mean? But it seems intentional that they named the assistant Costanza, like for a joke, a play on a Seinfeld character called George Costanza. Where are we at? Oh, the giant man-bat final boss mode. The vampire at one point towards the end of the movie during the final fight with the witch, the man-witch, turns into like a mutilated man-bat type deal creature, which is kind of cool. Final form is the giant man-bat. The movie follows what I think is the greatest horror movie trope of all time, and it should be respected and followed by all filmmakers trying to scare us with their screen or screen stories. You know, if you're going to make a horror movie, you should probably do this. And here it is. When the monster's dead, the movie's over. Now, I know a lot of students and filmmakers that train with Roger Corman. I attribute it to Roger Corman, but I don't know if he originated it. I couldn't find out online where I pieced this together from, but I've been saying it for a while, and I believe it to be true. If you have a monster movie and you've killed the monster, that's where your movie ends. No epilogue, no denouement, no where did the characters go 10 years from now after they fought the monster. No. The monster is dead. The movie's over. Wow. It really was a fast run. I mean, this is a pretty short episode. I'm not going to apologize. I aim to give you 20 solid minutes of entertainment. This one's a little short. Or whatever. I'm thirsty. I'm going to take a sip of this drink. Believe it or not, it's not fully loaded right now because I'm recording this at kind of a break in the day. I've had a pretty good breakfast. Do you ever make eggs? Do you make eggs for yourself? You should. You should. They're on the good list again. Anyway, I had some eggs, got some juice. Whatever else is in there, I'm not saying. Think what you want. All right. Where are we at? You know what time it is. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Next up, we're going to be watching this movie called Shout. Pretty cool concept. A traveler by the name of Crowley or Crossley. It's not spelled like Crowley, but it might be pronounced the same way. But this looks like Crossley. Is that an Australian name? I don't know. It happens in Australia, so we'll see. A traveler by the name of Crossley forces himself upon a musician and his wife in a lonely part of Devon and uses the Aboriginal magic he has learned to displace the hosts. Looks like an amazing cast and a pretty original concept. It's actually a thriller from the 70s. Haven't heard of this movie. Was doing research to try to put together a sweet lineup for you for Summer/7. By the way, so far I think what's the best thing that we've watched? Listen. The Vindicator, one of my all-time favorites. Again, more people should be watching it. I love Frankenstein Unbound. I think I said, on that episode that's my favorite Frankenstein adaptation into a movie because it's got the best concept of all of them. A time-traveling scientist of Frankenstein goes and meets Frankenstein and the monster and then has to deal with the conflict. Anyway, and that is a Corman movie, by the way. And then what else did we do on the run here? Oh, Child of Peach. That's what opened up the year. A Taiwanese film, Lost the Time. I mean, you can't even read the subtitles halfway through because it's like a copy of a copy of a copy you have to watch online. But, I mean, there's some wild stuff in that movie. Yeah, so, anyway, I'm looking forward to the having discovered this movie called The Shout. We'll see what it is. It's got a cult following out there. We'll see what they say about it, and we'll bring you back a review of that one. Also, we're going to do... There's a Puppet Master I haven't seen, and it's actually the 7th one. Puppet Master 7, also known as just Retro Puppet Master. In pre-World War I France, the young Toulon learns the ancient Egyptian secret of bringing inanimate objects to life. I feel like what's weird about the Puppet Master series is after like 4 or 5, after those sequels, I mean, they did like Puppet Master vs. Demonic Toys. I mean, that's what's interesting about Full Moon Entertainment is they have a lot of crossover in the Full Moon multiverse, so to speak, or the Moonverse. I don't know what you want to call it. They have a lot of their stuff crossover, and they also recut things. They give you like best of compilations, because they were popular during the home video series. That when they were putting stuff right out to VHS or whatever, they would compile like the third acts of several movies and retell them in volumes. Like there's one where they put like 3 or 4 vampire movies that they made into one movie that was like 45 minutes long. They're like an OVA. It's like a live action OVA. You know how they do in anime where they try to encapsulate a bunch of episodes of a TV show into a few episodes that tell the whole story by recutting or adding new scenes. Same with this. Full Moon Entertainment would put together these volumes where they would retell some of their own movies by recutting the scenes and smashing their stories together. Anyway, kind of ingenious, revisionist stuff. But, yeah, so Retro Puppet Master, it's the 7th entry. They had already done Toulon's origin story. I feel like they did like a World War II where he's being persecuted and sends his dolls after the Nazis, So Retro Puppet Master, and they're older. Like, that's the thing. They redesigned the puppets themselves to look retro, right? That was the concept, and I just don't know. I mean, let me tell you, obviously Blade is probably everybody's favorite puppet. He's the guy who has like a skull face, a trench coat. He's like an assassin. He's got little blades for little blades for hands or whatever. There's the Leech Girl, right? And then Pinhead, though, was always cool. He's like a strong man, but he has a shrunken head. And then there's the Drill Guy. So those are like the classic ones. The other ones, whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I think those are the main ones. I mean, so it was pretty cool because, in the first movie, the puppets were just trying to do their own thing because I think they're... What happens is the Puppet Master dies, and then the new Puppet Masters are sinister people, and they have to follow the commands of the Puppet Masters, obviously, because that's how the magic works. And so they're kind of neutral. They're not good or bad, but they can do good things and they can do bad things based on who's controlling the puppets at any given time. Anyway, actually, as the run turned out, because I freaking, previewed next week so hard for you that we have a full episode anyway, which is kind of funny. Anyway, wow, I managed to actually not spoil anything from the Vindicator. Wait, it has a great ending. Right here at the end, I'm gonna go ahead and spoil it for you. So, they do like a corporate cover-up at the end of the movie because, it's a disaster. Carl's pregnant wife almost dies, his friend dies, his coworkers die, one of the executives of the company dies, the hired gun for the company, she's dead, that's the Pam Grier character, and she's ruthless in the movie, she's killing everyone in her way to try to get to Carl. NASA's like, oh, Carl was a hero, he tested out the first manned suit to Mars, and here's his statue, and here's the suit program that we're going to continue to use for NASA. I'm like, oh, corporate cover-up, corporate settlement, they cut a big check to Carl's wife. Alright, like I said earlier, but kept rambling on, you don't have to go home, you can't stay here, I think that's a 90s song, I think it's called Closing Time, look it up. The 90s are going to live forever, the 80s are going to live forever, immortal time with entertainment. Alright, here we go, I'll see you next time.